Hello guys, welcome back to the show. Life Matters is here, May is also here, and for this reason I wanted to start a new series of videos called The Human Body. It's a series of videos I wanted to do for a while, and basically it's going to be anatomy and physiology, that's what I'm doing the code again, and body systems. For example, today I'm going to start with the digestive system. You know, I'm always talking about foods and superfoods and why you have to eat, good things and this and that, but I want to take time also to explain. And for those people who don't know what's happening inside us every time we put food in our mouth. So where does it go? What's going on? So many things that happen in our human body and we don't even know about. So it's only fair if we try to study them a little bit, alright? So check it out. So most people think that digestion starts in the mouth, but that's actually not true. Digestion starts in the moment you look at the food, with your sight and smell. The moment you smell it and then you feel the watery mouth, well, that's what's happening is that you're producing more saliva. And saliva is full of digestive enzymes such as amylase. And these digestive enzymes, what they're going to do is that they mix with the food and it breaks down the food and it makes it easier to absorb and digest. So that's the importance of chewing. When you're chewing your food, you're actually mixing it with saliva and you're mechanically breaking it down. So you're pretty much taking a lot of hard work to the rest of your digestive system. Chewing is one of the foundations of a healthy digestive system. So you want to make sure that before you swallow the food, make sure it's a really nice paste. It doesn't have to be liquid, I've read, different opinions and all that. As long as, it's really well mixed, you taste your food as well, and then now it's really well mixed and it's really easy to swallow as well. So, at this point, when your tongue pushes back the bolus, because now the food is called bolus, into your esophagus, that's the last part of the conscious part of the digestion system, From now on, everything is going to be automatic. Everything is going to be done by your unconscious brain. So the esophagus is basically a tube. It's a muscular tube, two-layer of muscle that is going to be pushing it down the bolus to the stomach. Now this muscle is called enteric muscle, and it's a kind of muscle that we have no control, like conscious control on it. For example, the cardiac muscle is another kind of muscle that we cannot control consciously. The only kind of muscle that we can control is the skeletal muscle, what you see in bodybuilders and all that stuff. So these three kind of muscles, the skeletal, the one we control, enteric, the one in your digestive system, and the cardiac, in the heart, the one that we can't control either consciously. So anyway, your food goes down to the stomach, and the stomach is really interesting because it's the only organ that can withstand a really acidic environment. The rest of the body is always in a neutral pH, which is the acid-alkaline balance. The acid-alkaline scale goes from 1, which is really acidic, to 14, which is really alkaline. And usually life occurs within, 6, 7, neutral pH is what we call. But in the stomach, you will have a pH of 2, which is extremely acidic, because you have hydrochloric acid. And it's really important for this hydrochloric acid to be there because it's going to help to break down protein, and it's going to also activate some other digestive enzymes, such as pepsin. And remember, these digestive enzymes are going to help break down and absorb all the food. So basically, the stomach is going to make sure that at this stage is protein what is being digested. Okay? And your stomach has two sphincters, the esophageal sphincter and the pyloric sphincter. The stomach is just going to be churning, and pretty much think of a dryer, just like spinning around the food. So that's why if you chew your food properly, you're really helping your stomach, because your stomach doesn't have teeth, it's all soft tissue. So the softer you put the food in the stomach, the easier it's going to be to be digested. And if you don't chew your food properly and you just swallow food, like really chunks of food and all that, food is going to sit there longer, and you don't want that to happen, because if a lot of acid sits in your stomach for a long time, that's when we see, acidity, reflux, and stuff like that. And you don't want that to happen, because remember that the stomach can withstand a pH of 2, but nowhere else in the body, including the esophagus. If some acid, like when you experience, some reflux, and some acid goes up into the esophagus, you feel a really burning, bad sensation, and that's really dangerous. If you experience that all the time. For example, people with bulimia, that they make themselves to, you know, vomit. Yeah, acid is going to be reaching the esophagus really often, and that's going to cause ulceration, bleeding, and cancer in some cases. So it's really dangerous. So anyway, let's go back to the stomach. That's why you want to chew. Remember, chew properly. I want to be stressing that out. So your stomach is not going to let the food pass any further unless it's liquid, and it's going to be called chyme at this stage. And it's going to pass through this pyloric sphincter that opens and closes, you know, in a controlled fashion by your brain. And we're going to move to this picture. We're going to go into the duodenum, which is right here, the C-shaped part of the small intestine. And the duodenum is the first part of the digestive system that's going to start dealing with fats and carbohydrates. And how is this going to happen? Well, it's because if you have a closer look here, this is the gallbladder, which is here as well. There is a duct that connects the gallbladder into the duodenum. And there's also another duct that connects the pancreas to the duodenum as well. So in here, we're going to have bile from the liver that's going to help to emulsify those fats that you ate. And you're going to have some enzymes and hormones from the pancreas that are going to help digest carbohydrates. So it's really interesting how in the stomach we're digesting protein, and now in the duodenum, with the aid of the pancreas and the liver, you're going to be digesting carbohydrates and fats. Alright? So, the duodenum is pretty much 12 centimeters long. It's not really long, but it's really important. And from the duodenum, we go deeper into the small intestine. Now, the small intestine is really interesting. And, you know, for one, it's really long. It's 5 meters long. And there's a reason for that. Because at different lengths of the small intestine, we have